Zachary Davis was a quiet 15-year-old boy from Tennessee with a history of mental illness, but no one could have predicted the horrifying crime he would commit in August 2012. Zachary's life took a dark turn after his father, Chris, died of ALS in 2007. The loss sent him into a deep depression, and he began hearing voices, including one he claimed was his father's. He was diagnosed with schizophrenia and depressive disorder, but his mother, Melanie, pulled him out of therapy after just 4 sessions. The family moved to Sumner County, hoping for a fresh start. Melanie worked hard as a paralegal and triathlete, raising Zachary and his older brother Josh on her own. But Zachary's mental health continued to deteriorate, and he became increasingly withdrawn. Zachary was an outcast at school, often wearing the same hoodie and speaking in a monotone whisper. His phone contained apps about serial killers and torture devices, and his notebooks were filled with disturbing phrases like, "You can't spell slaughter without laughter." On August 10, 2012, Zachary, Melanie, and Josh went to see a movie together. When they returned home, Zachary packed a backpack with clothing, notebooks, and a claw hammer. That night, after Melanie went to bed, Zachary retrieved a sledgehammer from the basement. He entered her room and bludgeoned her to death, striking her nearly 20 times. Drenched in his mother's blood, Zachary then poured whiskey and gasoline in the family game room and set it on fire. He closed the door and fled the house, leaving his brother Josh inside. Josh was awakened by the fire alarm and escaped to a neighbor's house. When he tried to rescue Melanie, he found her lifeless body covered in blood. Zachary was found nearly 10 miles from home. When questioned by police, he chillingly said, "I didn't feel anything when I killed her." In a videotaped confession, Zachary claimed the voice of his father told him to kill Melanie. He showed no remorse, even laughing as he described the wet thumping sound of the sledgehammer hitting her head. During his trial, Zachary shocked the courtroom by blaming his brother Josh for the murder. His defense attorney admitted Zachary was guilty, but argued his severe mental illness should lessen his sentence. The jury deliberated for just 3 hours before finding Zachary guilty of first-degree murder. Judge D. David Gay sentenced him to life in prison, calling him evil and saying he had gone to the dark side. Zachary's grandmother, Gail Cron, blamed the tragedy on his untreated mental illness. She said, "Every teacher, every guidance counselor should have to stand trial with Zach. He's not a monster. He's a child who made a horrible mistake." Psychiatrist Dr. Bradley Freeman, who had diagnosed Zachary years earlier, testified that his actions were driven by psychosis. But the jury and judge disagreed, believing Zachary had planned the murder in cold blood. Zachary Davis will spend at least 51 years in prison before becoming eligible for parole. His story remains a haunting reminder of how untreated mental illness can lead to unimaginable tragedy.